Hello everyone, my name is Colin Red. Welcome to my first YouTube video of 2023. Today we are seeing if the everyday everyman Larry can become the Paldea region's champion. Instead of the so-called champion Gita person. Here are the rules, your standard hardcore Nuzlocke rules along with your normal type only rules along with character rules. However, there are some additional rules as shown, but the most important one is that I cannot go anywhere in the open world and must follow the set route pathing like you would in a traditional Pokemon game. But besides that, let's start the journey. We start by naming ourselves Larry and heading out to pick our starter Pokemon. Since none of these Pokemon are normal in the slightest, we will not be using them this run. However, to make this the most difficult we can, we'll be adopting the Spring Gito Cat and giving Pneumonia the Fighting Duck. Makes the most sense. After easily crushing Pneumonia with not normal grass cat, she rewards us with some Pokeballs and we can immediately head to Poké Path to go get ourselves our first Pokemon. We start off by getting a Lechonk, who we nickname Hammy, who is male and Larry's is female, but you'll see why this Hammy is even greater than his. Now that we caught Hammy, we can actually go backtrack to Poco, the route where we got our starter, and go get a true starter for Larry. So if we look on the top of our house, we can see that there's a pair of birds there named Squawkabilly. Squawkabilly is a new Pokemon introduced in Generation 9 that is normal flying, but most importantly has the ability Intimidate, which will help us out a lot through this playthrough, and we nickname our Squawkabilly Iago. Continuing more of the story, we meet the legendary bicycle from the future, who loves organic meat and bread sandwiches, who walks us in the grotto to where we find Yugi the Young Goose. 3 normal types at the very beginning, starting off quite strong. After getting challenged by Arvin, we easily defeat him and winning his Red Eyes Black Dragon. We head to South Providence Area 1 and spin the wheel where we get our very own squirrel, who we nickname Scratch from Ice Age. After leveling up Hammy to level 10 and growing a bit stronger, we easily defeat Pneumonia in the rematch fight by spamming Echoed Voice, where if you didn't know, it grows some power the more you use it during a fight, meaning Lechonk hit Pneumonia's Palmy with base 120 base power, easily one-shotting it. Heading into Mezzagona, we get Larry some new blood clothing and run into the school bullies known as Team Star. Bullying isn't normal, so it's our job to stop them. We easily let Iago take both of them down without trializing, feeling good about ourselves, and we head into school and learn about the 3 paths we must take to conquer the Paldea region: Victory Road, Path of Legends, and Operation Starfall. Starting from the bottom, the first place we head to is west to go see Katie, the bug-type gym leader. Before we face her, we get another encounter from Larry's roster in South Providence Area 2. Meet Star the Starly, who is adamant nature and ready to fight. Now before we continue, there is one other place we can visit to get an encounter, and that is Victory Road itself. Yep, the gate's just wide open from the very beginning for no reason. But we do get a random encounter here, so spinning the wheel we get Tyndamouse, which is one of my new favorite Pokemon from this game. However, it's horrible until it evolves and learns Population Bomb, which isn't until level 53. Great. After some easy training, Iago learns Airlace and easily crushes the puny bugs and wins us our first badge against Katie. Next up is our first Titan Pokemon, Cloth. New to this generation, but it is actually tricky to deal with, mostly because it has Brick Break, a fighting type move that crushes normal types, and Clomp is a physical attacker and physical tank. Plus it has the ability Anger Shell, which boosts its attack and speed even higher every time I punch it. But we have a strategy. In South Providence Area 3, we get another one of Larry's Pokemon, Dunsparce, who I nickname Dunsparce, which is going to be the best answer I have for this giant crowd. Starting the fight, I send in Iago to intimidate it, then immediately switch into Dunsparce, who's holding an Oranberry in case things go south, but also so I don't get blocked in by Cloth. Dunsparce comes in and uses Screech to harshly lower Cloth's massive physical defense. Since I am faster, I have Dunsparce use Dig, a TM I picked up right before this fight, dodging the next attack and dealing massive damage to the Titan on the next turn. Anger Shell does activate, but one more Dig finishes it off, causing it to run. And like all Titan fights, it makes it even easier to have a friend, join us, so that the Titan can easily just punch them to death and not any of us. We quickly defeat the Titan and move on to the next city. Once completing the city's gym challenge, we head and fight the second gym leader, Bracius, who specializes in grass types. The AI is interesting for this fight and I'll explain later. Starting the fight, I lead with my level 17 Iago and quickly end his Petalon Smoliv with Aerial Ace, leveling up to level 18 in the process, increasing my speed, meaning my Iago's speed increases too high for the Sudowoodo to reach no matter how many Trailblazes it uses. Meaning I am safe to just spam away Aerial Ace away at the Sudowoodo until it faints, because that's just how the AI is programmed. So easy second gym badge for me. Now remember how I said there was a strict route pathing I follow? Well, the game never technically requires you to head into South Providence areas 4 and 5. We skip area 5 for now since there is an important encounter for us later, But with a level cap of 20, we head to Area 4 and catch ourselves another one of Larry's Pokemon, Rufflet, who I nickname Fluffy, who, like Tenmouse, won't be useful until it evolves at level 54. Great, moving on. While heading to our next destination, our Hammy evolves into Oinkling and our Yugi evolves into Gumshoes. Next up on our journey is the second Titan Bombardier. However, despite it causing so much damage to everyone by dropping the rocks, we ride our futuristic bike to the other side of the mountain to downgrade our bike to catch Dual Runner the Cyclizard, a normal and dragon type which will be a great addition to Larry's team. Finally prepped and ready for the fight, we travel back up the mountain, challenging the giant stork. Like with the claw fight, we lead with Iago, intimidating the Titan and switching to Donspars, setting up Screech to harshly lower its defense and switching into Yugi, where the king of games can just Thunderfang the bird to death. Now unlike the claw fight, we don't get a chance to heal, and the second fight comes right away. Iago intimidates, this time switching to Dual Runner, killing the Titan with its own Thunderfang, securing our victory. That makes 2 gym badges and 2 Titans defeated, and with 0 deaths on the team. We are feeling great so far. And to add to our lucky streak, Larry has the luck of an Irishman because we just apparently find a full-on shiny Skittle before we go take on our first Team Starbase. We catch it and name it Irish. We can't use it in battle or anything, but it's still fun to see it and own it. After finding that beautiful shiny, we start our first Team Star fight against Giacomo, who uses Dark-type Pokemon. The Team Star fights are always annoying. For Giacomo, he leads with a Pawniard with Defiant, which raises its attack stat if its own stats are lowered, so it can't lead with Iago or Star with Intimidate. So our plan here is to lead with Hammy, who has a Muscle Band and spams Dig on the Pawniard until it dies. Lucky enough, it one-shot crits the Pawniard and gives full HP to the pig, for when Giacomo sends out the Starmobile. We get intimidated by the Starmobile, so we switch into Iago to even the fields. Knowing how the AI works, it sees Wicked Torque doesn't do enough damage, so it switches the strategy of Metal Sound into Snarl. Using a combination of Intimidate from Iago, Screech from Donspars, and Breaking Sway from Dual Runner, which also lowers its physical attack even further, we are easily able to keep switching in and out from all the team members to defeat our first Team Star boss. Our next challenge is the Electric-type gym leader and streamer, Iono. She has a great lineup with her ace being a Terra Electric Levitating Mismagius with no weaknesses, so it's going to be a bit difficult for us to easily win this fight. But before the third gym fight, our rival, Pneumonia, challenges us to a fight. However, we easily sweep her team and we are quickly moving on. Since Iono uses only Electric types on her team, here's our plan. Lead with Dunsparce to Ancient Power the Watchful. Unlucky enough, we get paralyzed, but we fight through it for the easy 2-hit KO. When Bellybelt comes out, we pray on land a Screech before switching into Hammy to use Dig. However, we get paralyzed again. However, Hammy has the ability Lingering Aroma, which means Bellybelt's ability changes to Lingering Aroma, meaning I can hit it without its electric type moves powering up. We switch again to Yugi and get paralyzed for the 3rd time in a row, eventually knocking it out. FYI, Icework only has 30% chance to paralyze, so unlucky me. When Lexio finally comes out, we switch to Kamala to tank a few hits before landing a Yawn, giving us the chance to switch into Dual Runner for the kill. Finally sending out her ace, it's Mismagius, and terrestrializes it into pure electric. Now the benefit of Cyclizard being part normal means she can't use her ghost type move Hex. She is forced to only use Charge Beam to deal damage. We land one breaking swipe that takes her down to half health. Mismagius retaliates by using Confuse Ray. So we are confused and still paralyzed. Against all the coin flips, we got lucky and hit. However, the dumb ghost lives on 1 HP due to a low roll. And finally, after so many turns, Shedtail activates, removing our paralysis. I went for the safest option and decided Scrat had to die. I switched him in and said goodbye. Scrat's first and only battle. I'm sorry, little buddy. Hopefully we'll meet again soon. Wink wink. With the clean switch in and lacking confusion, we quick attack for the win and earn our 3rd gym badge. Now it's time for our second Team Star leader fight, Melina. Our plan for her fire types is simple. Screech the Torkoal so its defense stat isn't as good, and spam Dig to destroy it along with stalling out the sun. When the Starmobile comes up, we switch into Iago to Intimidate it and Dual Runner to Breaking Swipe it so its attack stat is lowered into the ground. In the meantime, it decides to spam Overheat to lower its own special attack even further, which means we can easily just send in Hammy to spam Dig and bury that car into the ground, securing our second Team Star badge. Now for one of the more annoying challenges of this run, the Steel Titan Earthworm. This thing has an annoying moveset in Sandstorm to deal damage every turn, along with Wrap to deal damage every turn, but prevent us from switching. Iron Tail and Headbutt are huge, massive damage dealers, plus Earthworm's massive defense stat. We start with Star to Intimidate but with U-turn we can switch out into Dual Runner, just in case Earthworm decided to start with Wrap. Before the fight we taught Dual Runner Fire Fang, so after a few breaking swipes we Fire Fang the Lurking Steel Titan to death and watch it crawl away. While heading to the 4th gym leader who specializes in water types, we found yet another shiny. Meet our second shiny Pokemon, Yungoos, again who we nicknamed Yami, so now we have Yami and Yugi. I know, cool, right? Kofu leads with Velvuva against our intimidating Starmie. As usual, we start with U-turn again into Iago to double intimidate the physical psychic fish, leaving in a 1 HP for the star of this fight, Yugi, who, with Thunderfang and Stakeout, we should easily, and it lands a crit. Dang it. New plan, switch to Hammy with leftovers to finish off the Velvuva, but not before setting up Sunny Day to weaken the chef's water type moves. Voltrio comes out and we both spam Headbutt until Voltrio faints. Kofu's final fish is the Crabominal with Slam, Crab Hammer, and Rock Smash. Yet another fighting type move that seriously hurts us. So in order to crush the crab, we decided to yawn and put her to sleep, barely surviving the Rock Smash. The AI, seeing any move can kill, but without the sun, it sees Crab Hammer as its most powerful move, so we switch into Downspars to tank it. Now let's sleep, we switch again into Dual Runner to Thunderfang the Sleeping Giant to win our 4th gym badge. Now for this next fight, I can't emphasize how many hours of playtesting and theory crafting this took me. Like, I'm talking about the Poison Star leader, Atticus. Like, this took me so long that during theory crafting, I found a wild pink shiny Sneasel. That makes 3 full odd shinies for Larry. Ugh. Remember a while back how I said I was saving South Providence Area 5 for a special encounter? Well, this is that time. South Providence Area 5 is the home to Zangoose, a 1 in 5 chance with my wheel encounter spin, and let's just say the luck of the Irish was on our side. We got a Zangoose, who luckily enough was adamant, who we nicknamed Hope, and I'll show you how much of a monster Zangoose is. At the start of the Atticus fight, we lead with Dual Runner to Shed Tail, which is basically Substitute and U-turn combined into one. We easily switch into Zangoose, who has max attack, max speed, a little bit HP, and given the moves Belly Drum, Quick Attack, Dig, and Night Slash. I'm pretty sure you can all see what's going to happen. I'll just let it play out. I have priority since we already are max speed. Substitute faded. How are you so fast doing? The substitute took damage perfectly. And heal with leftovers. You're still too fast. Now dig. Yeah! I can't be poisoned, baby. Yay! That one is going in the collection. Now finally halfway through the game, it's finally time for the main event. Larry against Larry. Normal versus normal. We head to a few routes onto West Province Area 3, spin the wheel and get ourselves a Vigoroth named Chungus, which we immediately evolve into Slaking, who is still a monster of a Pokemon, but before evolving, well, that's right, another shiny. But this time it's Scrat. Scrat is back and shinier than ever. That makes 4 full-out shinies in one playthrough. Now here's the point of the run where I decide to honor Larry by max statting all of his team members by max EV training them, maxing out their best stats and giving them the best items I can think of. The real Larry starts with Kamala. We lead with Big Chungus, drain punching the Kamala to death. Next up is his own Dunsparce, who leads on Glare on Big Chungus, but we are hiding a Cherry Berry as a held item, so retaliate with the drain punch. Unfortunately, it lives and lands another Glare, so we are switching out and showing Larry our Dunsparce, setting up Stealth Rock and switching again into Staraptor to kill the Dunsparce with U-turn. So now it's Larry Staraptor against Big Chungus. We want to meme and have Big Chungus use Giga Impact. Keep in mind that we are now intimidated, but Stealth Rock keep us within the damage range of killing. We pray that we hit, but Big Chungus misses. Then also round, and then for content we don't switch out despite dying to crit, and we pray and land a Giga Impact and win our 5th gym badge. Happy times. Next up is the annoying rival, who I'm just going to skip to the best part. We put her ace to sleep with Yawn and have Dual Runner run over it, quick and simple. Next up is the Ghost type leader Rhyme, who specializes in double battles. We both are at a disadvantage technically, but I taught a lot of my Pokemon Dark type moves, so with some durability from both sides and Big Chungus, Hammy, we can easily just defeat her and move on, earning our 6th gym badge. Next up on our journey is a split path. Since the Titan Iron Threads and the Psychic Gym Leader both capped at level 45, we can go either way, but we choose to travel back to the desert to challenge the Great Titan Iron Threads. On the start of the fight, we will be using Star to intimidate Big Chungus into the fight, who spams Earthquake for an easy win. While heading to the Psychic type gym, we travel through the mountain passageway, and we find ourselves the 5th shiny of this run through, a male shiny Salandit. Hooray for us. After that shining, things take a turn for the worse. I forgot we have an ammonia fight, so we get dangerously close to over-leveling, so after all of that, I switched to some B-team casting members to take on the gym trainers, thinking nothing could go wrong. However, Meditate with High Gym Kink easily takes out a lot of our teammates, so rest in peace to all of them. We barely survived and move on to the Psychic-type gym leader. After mourning the deaths of our friends, we move on to the next gym leader herself, Tulip, who specializes in Psychic-type Pokemon. Since we're bloodthirsty enough for revenge, I did the most evil thing I can think of. Shed tail into belly drum and power trip. Just watch what happens. This is why we get Psychic right now. After the 7th gym, we immediately head to the 8th gym and go fight Grusha, the Ice-type gym leader, who loses to Pyro with Flamethrower and Sunny Day. What do you expect? Ice types are weak! Now let's go back to bullying Team Sir by fighting their spoiled rich kid, Artega. Fairy types are a big tricky to deal with, however I had a big brain plan. Leading with Paint the Graffiti, we equipped him with the wide lens to increase the accuracy of Gunk Shot and hopefully one-shot every member of his team. However, that failed horribly considering he missed both 90% accurate Gunk Shots and died. Great. Paint deserved to die after that embarrassing defeat. Hammy was sent in to kill the Azumarill, then Dawnspars came in and set up Stealth Rock, knocking out the Wigglytuff, but not before setting up Tailwind. Switching to Momobear, we finish off Bread Dog. Finally, the Starmobile comes out and we stall out its most powerful move, Steel Roller, by having Mama use Charm to harshly lower its attack stat until it's -6, and the Mystery Terrain ends. Finally switching to Big Chungus to finally end this fight with few Earthquakes. The final Team Star member is Aerie, the Fighting-type Star Leader. She was originally the scariest fight I had imagined for this run to have, however, we have a solid strategy. Make Aerie fall head over heels for Larry. She leads the fight with the Toxic Croak and I lead with Star, the Great Friend. Luckily, Aerie is too head over heels for Larry, so we easily just knock out the Toxic Croak without priority Sucker Punch using Acrobatics, which doubles in power since we're not holding any items. We copy and paste the same strategy, knocking out our other two Pokemon until Lucario comes out, and we easily defeat that with a simple close combat. However, when the Stormobile comes out, close combat never has a chance to fully resolve, meaning our defense stats are perfectly fine. They aren't lowered in the slightest. We lead the fight against the Starmobile with Acrobatics, dealing over 50% HP of the damage. However, the Stamina ability kicks in and easily increases its defense by 1, and Aerie loves to spam Shift Gear, which means its attack is increased by 1 and its speed is increased by 2. We land another Acrobatics, however, the Stamina ability prevented us from knocking it out, and now it spams Shift Gear again, meaning it's +4 speed, +2 attack, and +2 defense. So now let's move on to the next part of the strategy. I send in Iago to intimidate in and also live on 1 HP due to the focus that she's holding. However, he lives on full HP because for the 3rd time, Aerie used Shift Gear to increase its stats even higher. So I Quick Attack, it barely doesn't kill, knowing Quick Attack will kill on the next turn, but Aerie just Shift Gears anyway, leaving every team member I have on full HP, and Iago just kills with a Quick Attack. Aerie didn't hit us once that entire fight. The power of love. Now for the final step before reaching the Elite Four, the final Titan fight. We bring on another Pokemon who's not been in this whole run up to now, Small Boy, the Arbolvia, who easily wipes out both stages of the fight with Grassy Terrain powered Grass Knot and Sunny Day powered Solar Beams, winning all 3 paths and moving us to the Elite Four. Now here we are, finally ready to take on the Elite Four and champion to prove Larry's full strength. Our final 6 team members are Star the Staraptor, Big Chungus the Slacking, Dual Winner the Cyclizard, Dawnspars the Dunsparce, Hammy the Oinkling, and a never before seen face, Family the Mousehold, from the very beginning of the game. After flawlessly passing the entrance exam on our very first time, we head into the first fight against Eureka. Our strategy for her ground types is simple. Mousehold, holding the wide lens to increase Population Bomb's accuracy to 99%. Set up an attack and speed boost with Tidy Up, and it's an easy first Elite Four member down. Poppy's up next, and she uses Steel types. We start the fight with Star, who uses Close Combat to one-hit KO the Copperaja. Once Manda Zone comes low, we switch into Hammy and use Yaw, and then use Dig to stall out the remaining turrets until we eventually take out the Magnezone. Corviknight is up next, we switch into Big Chungus to Fire Punch the Steel Bird into submission. Bronzong is next on the chopping block, and Big Chungus barely holds on to Fire Punch it to death. Finally, it's Poppy's Tinkatonk, switching to Star to intimidate the Hammer Child, after tanking the Gigaton Hammer and use Close Combat to finish it off, and the second Elite Four member is down. Now it's time for another highlight fight. It's Larry versus Larry rematch, except this time Larry is holding back on us, using the team Gata gave him, which is all flying types. We start the fight with Mousehold again, trying the population bomb strategy again. However, after the tidy up into Tropius' sunny day, we roll the dice and land only 5 hits with a 1% chance to miss. Lucky us, family can tank a solar beam and roll the dice again and land only 1 hit. What a horrible RNG. Larry doesn't play anymore and sends out his own Staraptor to bring us back to base attack. Since we are still faster, we take a deep breath and roll the dice again despite our better judgment and manage to knock out the Staraptor. Phew. Altaria is sent out next, and still praying against all odds, we knock out the Altaria with another population bomb. Oricorio is next when we low roll the dice and fail to knock it out after 6 hits, but luckily predict the teeter dance, so we get a free switch into big chunks to tank the hit and knock out the cheerleader bird on the next turn. Back into a corner, he brings out his quote-unquote ace Flamigo, and we switch into Staraptor to weaken the bird, but we forget Flamigo has Scrappy, so it doesn't work. Star barely survives the close combat, lowering its own stats, and we U-turn out Downsparce to tank one more. Flamigo taking recoil damage from Brave Bird. Next to tank is Hammy to barely survive a close combat, lowering its own stats even more. Switching one more time to Big Chungus, who steps in to finish off this fight with a Fire Punch. Sorry Larry, but that's now 3 down, 1 to go. Last of the Elite Four is the Dragon-type user, Hassel. Starting this fight off is family, because apparently I didn't learn my lesson when fighting Larry. We start by setting up Tidy Up to raise our attack and speed, and lucky for us, Super Fang missed to give us full HP for the rest of the fight. With the added speed, Population Bomb easily knocks out the Noivern, which means next up is Dragalage with Poison Point, which sadly does poison the family, but it's still knocked out. Flapple's up next, and like the rest, it dies to a Population Bomb. Haxorus is up next and takes 3 hits from Population Bomb and hits us hard, meaning if we don't knock it out this next turn, family dies. But we say screw it and roll the dice and knock out the dragon, another close call. Finally sits Bexcalibur, who has a signature move, Glaive Rush, which allows our Pokemon to deal double the battle damage with our next hit. So we switch out and call in Staraptor to intimidate it, tank the hit, and then U-turn into Big Chungus to finish this match with an Earthquake, meaning we won against the Elite Four with 0 deaths. Now is the time. Now for the final fight. Larry finally gets to stand up to his boss, Gita. Larry wishes to meme and end things quickly, so he's going to start with family, but Gita leads with Esperanza, whose ability will raise its stats if we raise our own, so we can't use Tidy Up. So we decide to roll the dice, and luckily enough, we 7-shot the Esparta to death. Avalugg is next, and Avalugg is actually scary. It's a massive physical defense tank, and has Body Press. Body Press is a move that deals physical damage based on the user's physical defense stat, plus being super effective because it's fighting type move. We take family out and bring in Big Chungus, who is still taking down to half HP. We're able to restore some HP with leftovers and Drain Punch while taking an Avalanche, putting us at exactly 50% HP, meaning the Body Press next turn is going to kill us. Star is then brought out, but is also brought to just above half HP, so we have to U-turn out and swap into Downsparce to tank and then Glare to paralyze it. Hoping for a free turn, Downsparce then sets up Stealth Rock while also using Roost to restore some HP. We switch into Hammy to give Avalugg Lingering Aroma, meaning Staraptor can safely come back and out and intimidate it. Tanking a hit like a champ and then kill with close combat. Kingambit is up next, but he is also easily taken down by a second close combat. Next is Veluva. We are too slow in damage, and they have priority Aqua Jet, so we swap back into Big Chungus to tank the hit. We land a Sucker Punch, but also land a hot crit that actually mattered, meaning Go-Goat is up next. While Slacking is loafing around, it uses Horn Leech to restore the HP it lost, but we also restore some HP we lost with Drain Punch. However, Go-Goat sees the opportunity and uses Bulk Up to increase its stats. We decide to swap into Dual Runner, eating an attack before using Shed Tail to bring back Star out safely, since the substitute will take all the damage, meaning we can U-turn into family to finish off the goat. However, Population Bomb decides to miss completely, meaning 0 hits. Lucky for us, we do manage to kill the goat on the next turn. But have you ever seen a 0-hit Population Bomb? After all that, it's now time for Gita's ace, Gomora, who has Pure Rock upon Terastallizing. So after taking Stealth Rock damage, we switch into Big Chungus, eating a Sludge Wave, and now we retaliate with an Earthquake. But we low roll it, and Gomora lives on 1 HP. Gita fires a Terror Blast, but misses lucky enough. Slacking lows around while Gita aims and fires another terror blast which should kill us but misses a second time. Big Chungus is now clear for an easy victory, landing the earthquake, securing our place among the throne. Which means we did it. We accomplished our mission. Larry is the official champion and been promoted to #1 status in all of Paldea. I'd like to say thank you for watching and showing support for my channel. I'm still new to content creating, but I'm still out here trying. Hopefully I can make videos like this for all of you. I'd be more than happy to read your suggestions in the comments on what type of video you'd like to see. Also, feel free to leave constructive criticism, all you want. Maybe you have topics on how I could have played better. Maybe you have subjects for videos I should do in the future. Maybe I'll do a harder game like Pokemon Emerald or Emerald Kaizo. Who knows? Either way, thank you so much guys for watching and your support for my first video of 2023. Let's make this year great.